Welcome, crew, guys, gals, ghouls, friends, fiends, foes, horror junkies, etc. Secure your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a rocky mountain high, get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners, and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in Colorful, Colorado. This Sunday, September 3rd, Monday, September 4th, for those of you across the pond and beyond, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, and welcome to We Are Paradox Media's Late Night Rockies. We're Host TessaTNT, and we are broadcasting live from the Mile High Clubhouse tonight. If you're listening live right now, you may be listening to us on KPNL Radio, which you can find on kpnlradio.kpnl-bp.com. You can also find us live on Facebook under We Are Paradox Media, YouTube under We Are Paradox Media, as well as Twitch, if you like to watch. If you want to listen to us in your free time, whether you're working it, or working out, just make sure you tune into us under We Are Paradox Media, basically on any venue you want to listen to. I think we have all of the bases covered for that. So tonight it's story time with me, TessaTNT. So tonight we are going to be doing the world's 100 greatest mysteries, strange secrets of the past revealed. And then later on in the show, we're actually going to be watching a video. I don't know about you, but it's pretty dang hot in here. Pretty dang hot indeed. But hey, happy Labor Day weekend to everyone out there. No sound. Let me look really quick. Weird. So it's showing up here. Let me look over here. Yeah, it's showing up here too. Don't know what you're talking about, Robert. Because it's showing sound everywhere. There's sound everywhere. Rob. On YouTube, no sound. Yeah, on my soundboard it's showing the sound is bouncing. Bouncy, 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 bouncy. And then over here on Spreaker, it's bouncing too, so I don't know. There should be not only background music, but my voice bouncing there. So, the story we have going on. Love you, Rab. Miss you, brother. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, it's so hot. Like, ugh, I had my hair up and twisted back, and it still didn't help. Ancient footprints in stone. Did humans walk the earth millions of years ago? Gigantic beings who might have lived during the time of the dinosaurs. For years, claims have been made that fossilized human footprints, some of them more than 20 inches long, occur alongside dinosaur tracks in the Paluxy Riverbed near Glen Groves, Texas. Prints first found in the 1950s by a local rock hound suggest that a race of human beings more than 8 feet tall once lived and interacted with prehistoric beasts as far back as the Cretaceous period. Such finds conflict sharply with the standard geologic timetable that states humans did not evolve until about 500,000 years ago, more than 65 million years after the dinosaurs became extinct. Hey on that. If you go and you look at the pyramids, the Mayan pyramids in Mexico and such, there's actually depictions of Stegosaurus on the pyramids, and they only carved what they saw, so obviously the dinosaurs did exist. More recently than they're actually saying. And there's also pterodactyls that have been seen, and here in the Four Corners area, people have seen like little baby T-Rexes and stuff. Weird. So, like I said, the sound looks like it's bouncing and stuff. Hey, UFO Bigfoot. No sound, seriously? Why is everybody saying that? Move over here. Let's try this. Let's go right here instead. Still nothing? Man, let me know. The crack. sound. But the sound is bouncing. What the crack, Gova? It shows it bouncing like on all my boards, so I'm not quite sure what the heck is going on. Weird. Does this work? Hello, hello, hello. Primary sound cache. Okay, so hopefully this is working. I'm not quite sure. Can you hear me now? And it looks really low too. Let me look over here. Sound is bouncing. No, it's not. What the heck is happening? Hello, 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 hello. What the crime is happening? Microphone. Hello, hello, hello. Come on, what the crack? And the mic is on. Pause, unpause. Back. UFO Bigfoot. Is it working now? Like, can you hear me? Let me stop my cam. Nope, nope, nope. What the heck? Let me go to sound here. Audio. Hello, hello, hello. Is that better? Can you hear me now? Weird. Perhaps we should start from the beginning. Ancient footprints in stone. Did humans walk the earth millions of years ago? Gigantic beings who might have lived during the time of the dinosaurs. For years, claims have been made that fossilized human footprints, some of them more than 20 inches long, occur alongside dinosaur tracks in the Paluxy Riverbed near Glen Rose, Texas. The prints, first found in the 1950s by a local rock hound, suggest that a race of human beings, more than 8 feet tall, once lived and interacted with prehistoric beasts, as far back as the Cretaceous period. Yay! You could finally hear me. Good. I don't even know, what happened to the sound. Weird. But hey, we're back on. Thanks, UFO Bigfoot. Thanks, Rob Smithhart. Sorry about the, crazy tech issues. Such finds conflict sharply with a standard geological timetable that states humans did not evolve until about 500,000 years ago, more than 65 million years after the dinosaurs became extinct. And like I was saying before, when you couldn't hear me, these tracks actually show that humans and dinosaurs did coexist, and like I was saying, on the Mayan temples and stuff, there's stegosauruses and such carved in the temples, and that just proves, the Mayans only carved what they saw, what they witnessed. And so, yeah, I truly do believe that dinosaurs do still exist. We have the pterodactyl flying around, and then also here in the Four Corners area, people have taken pictures of little wee dinosaurs. They look like little baby T-Rexes running along the grass and stuff, along the road. It's pretty interesting. Yet thousands of giant man tracks have been found in the rocks along riverbeds from Arizona to Texas to Kentucky and Mississippi, leading some experts to theorize that humans interacted regularly with prehistoric reptiles of old. Over 100 human footprint trails have been studied in the Paluxy River area, while a site in Utah suggests these long-lost ancestors might have actually worn clothes. What? I don't believe it. Clearly, if these ancient footprints in stone are genuine, then something must be wrong with our fossil records. Otherwise, how is it possible that man-like creatures roamed North America millions of years before the emergence of Australopithecus in Africa and Asia? While some scientists have dutifully examined the Glen Rose rocks and others, most refuse to consider the possibility that human beings and dinosaurs coexisted. Were this momentous statement true, were it true, the names of its discoverers would thunder down the corridors of time as individuals who made one of the most outstanding discoveries of the 20th century, says Ernst Mayr of Harvard University. Finding dinosaur footprints side by side with humans would counter evidence that humans evolved long after the dinosaurs became extinct, and back up the claim that all species, including man, were created at one time, reported a Nova television special entitled God, Darwin, and the Dinosaurs. On June 1st, 1968, William J. Meister, a drafting supervisor and amateur geologist, was searching for trilobite fossils near Antelope Springs in the mountains of Utah, where he unearthed an amazing find: a rock containing human footprints along with fossilized trilobites. Even more amazing was the fact that at least one of the footprints appeared to be wearing a sandal. The footprint measured just over 10 inches long by 3.5 inches wide at the sole and 3 inches wide at the heel. The heel print was indented in the rock about 1/8 of an inch more than the sole. According to one observer, it was clearly the right foot because the sandal was well worn on the right side of the heel. Several easily visible trilobites were in the footprint. Just goes to show. Since trilobites became extinct many millions of years before the evolution of Homo sapiens, most scientists understandably are reluctant to even consider the authenticity of the Glen Rose, Antelope Springs, or any of the other thousands of tracks reportedly found by conmen and pranksters. Most paleontologists who have examined the disputed impressions declare them to be nothing more than partially registered dinosaur tracks, natural depressions, or, in many instances, outright fakes carved by local residents to sell to tourists. Seriously, give me a break. Okay, is this working now? Let me... Hello, hello, hello. Yep, it's working. Oh, but this is weird. The background music isn't coming through. Weird. Subin agrees that the Antelope Springs specimen does appear to contain several real trilobites, but adds, the print itself is questionable on several accounts. Upon closer inspection, the overall shape is seen to consist of a spall pattern in the concretion-like slab, similar to others in the area. There is no evidence that it was ever part of a striding sequence, nor evidence that it was ever on an exposed bedding plane. Yet some anthropologists have argued for years that the traditionally accepted time frame for man's existence on Earth is no longer satisfactory.
I need some help with spelling again, but I can't. What? Or.
Uh-oh. Alright, I gotta help Lily really quick. Give me a moment. Alright.
It's like,
Jeez, oh Pete, bud.
it's like, oh no.
Oh, sorry.
That's all.
I got most of them.
That's all I got.
Alright. Well, you still got some. Here, let me see your thing.
Alright.
That's okay, Bug.
No, it's fine.
There's some in here, too.
There's one in there. That's all that was left in there.
Where'd it still?
The couch.
Well, pick it up off the couch.
Well, I can't because the cushion was like this.
So it's in the crack?
No. Mom, it was like this, so it fell down on the floor. I can't pick it up on the floor.
I'm sorry. That's okay. We'll get more candy. Oh my goodness. She's having utter breakdown. She's so cute. complete and utter breakdown. Sorry I scared you off. Yet some anthropologists have argued for years that the traditionally accepted time frame for man's existence on Earth is no longer satisfactory. Some creationist-leaning scholars make arguments that various races of humans have appeared on Earth at different times, some of them perhaps millions of years ago. These fanciful arguments are usually ridiculed by mainstream scientists, who generally hold that man originated in Africa at some remote time in the past. Then, between 12,000 and 30,000 years ago, began a slow migratory trek that took them first to Asia, then across a now sunken land bridge into Alaska and the New World. But that theory has come under fire in recent years. New evidence is emerging to indicate that man might have arrived in the New World much earlier than thought, and that he came by boat rather than walking from Siberia and down through Canada during the last ice age. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but in the Grand Canyon, there's a cave there, and they actually have, excuse me, a lot of the Grand Canyon quartered off to where, nobody can go there because there's a cave. And at first, when they found it, back in the early 1900s, it was like Mr. Powell, and I can't remember the other guy's name, Sandusky or something like that. Anywho, they thought it was Tibetan or something like that, but it's actually been linked back to ancient Egyptians. So that's pretty intriguing. I'm sorry, I'm going to check my sound again because everybody keeps going off, and I'm not quite sure what the crack is going on. Don't know what is going on. What the heck is going on here? And why can't you guys hear the music? Freaking weird. Let me check this. Communications, audio headphones, default microphone. Yep, looks like that's working. Voice meter box. Still, there's no music playing. What the heck? What the heck is going on? Cable output. Now you can't hear me. What the heck is going on? Weird. Yeah, guys, I don't know what exactly is going on with the sound, but it seems like it's messed up. Sorry while I mess with this really quick. Trying to get this working. Headphone. Voice meter aux input. Maybe this will work. Yeah. Still not showing any music. I don't know. It was working last night. Didn't know what the crack happened. I broke it. But the theory has come under fire in recent years. New evidence is emerging to indicate that man might have arrived in the New World earlier, and we were just discussing that, how Egyptian tombs and such have been found in the Grand Canyon. It's pretty freaking amazing. One group of scientists even theorized that North America's first inhabitants may have crossed the icy Atlantic Ocean in ages past from Europe's Iberian Peninsula, belonging to a group known as the Solutrenes. These pre-modern explorers are believed to have originally settled the eastern seaboard, then gradually spread as far as the American deserts and Canadian tundra, perhaps even into South America. Such thinking has led to radical new ideas concerning the age of man in the New World. Jeffrey Goodman, an engineering archaeologist from Tucson, Arizona, now thinks it is possible that humans first developed in North America, then migrated westward towards Asia and the New World. Dr. Goodman bases his theory on many individual bits and pieces of information in the archaeological records which, taken together, serve to fingerprint and document specific migrations in reverse. He added, based on the evidence now coming to light, I believe that there was a migration in reverse. Instead of nomadic hunters coming from the Old World to populate the New World, the Paleo-Indians from the New World, the first fully modern men anywhere in the world, traveled to the Old World and woke it from its sound evolutionary sleep. But even Dr. Goodman and other American first theorists are unable to account for the enigmatic presence of human footprints in stones, deposits believed to be many millions of years old. These timeless tracks in stone remain one of the greatest mysteries of our time. Very interesting. Hello, 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 hello. Hi, ho, the stereo. Hello, hello, hello. Yep. Let me check this out. Try to fix the audio. Audio. What the heck is going on? What the heck is going on? Yeah, I have no idea why this background music isn't coming through on YouTube and stuff. Trying the voice meter output, not working. Freaking weird, guys. I don't get it. Oh, I just don't get it. In search of mammoths. When Thomas Jefferson sent explorers Meriwether Lewis and William Clark on their now famous expedition to the Pacific Northwest in 1804, his instructions included an unusual request: find, study, and, if possible, bring back a live mammoth. Like many leading thinkers of his day, Jefferson believed the lumbering, elephant-like creatures still roamed areas of the world, including the American West. He had seen the remains of some of these shaggy brutes with his own eyes. Vast numbers of fossilized bones at Kentucky's Big Bone Lac left behind since the Ice Age, and was determined to find one. This obsession led to the construction of a museum inside the White House's East Room that he stuffed with tusks and fossilized bones. To complete his collection, he very much wanted Lewis and Clark to bring back a living mammoth. When the 40 men did their expedition and returned in 1806, they brought back many exciting mementos, but no mammoths. Clearly, America's virgin territories sheltered no prehistoric elephants, yet we know that Jefferson's hunch was not so wide of the mark. We know that early Indians hunted and killed mammoths in great numbers. Go back perhaps 15,000 years, the week of an eye in a geological term, and we find a variety of proto-elephants trumpeting and thundering across the snow-covered tundra and plains of North and South America. This was the last of the great Pleistocene ice ages, which lasted from about 1.5 million to 10,000 years ago. During that time, the world grew very cold. Great sheets of ice, sometimes 1,000 feet thick, moved down from the north, gouging out the land. These harsh conditions were ideal for the development of giant mammals like mastodons and shaggy woolly mammoths that foraged the ancient landscape of present-day Idaho. Early American tribesmen, notably the Clovis people, actually attacked such megafauna with spears, arrows, and long knives. Clovis points, sharp, leaf-shaped, and fluted arrowheads have been found in the skeletal remains of American mammoths. Fortunately for the hunters, their prey were not flesh-eating predators such as the Tyrannosaurus rex, a fearsome dinosaur that lived millions of years earlier. Like today's elephants, the pro-elephants were peaceable creatures that ate grass, leaves, and shrubbery. That's the password if you need to know. It's shrubbery. Most paleontologists believe elephants evolved about 70 million years ago from a pig-like swamp-dwelling mammal. About 2 feet high, called a Morithium. The Morithiers flourished during the Upper Eocene, when most of the Earth's land surface, according to theory, was connected into one supercontinent called Pangaea. Millions of years after Pangaea broke up and the continents drifted apart, there emerged the famous woolly mammoth, the mastodon, and ultimately today's Asian elephant and the African elephant. In the minds of many scientists, these giant creatures of the Ice Age might have lived on forever had it not been for the arrival of a deadly predator known as man. From about 20,000 years ago to about 6,000 years ago, almost all of these lordly mammals died out. Or did they? Indian legends told of encounters with gigantic 5-legged beasts. What the crack? 5 legs? What the crack is that? Which some researchers took to mean elephant-like creatures, perhaps mammoths. The Chickamauga tribe of Louisiana believed that a long time ago, a being with a long nose came out of the ocean and began to kill people. It would root up trees with its nose to get at people who sought refuge in its branches. The Penobscot myth told of moving hills without vegetation that turned out to be, on close inspection, great animals with long teeth, animals so huge that then when they lay down, they could not get up. Other Indians related legends about how the great beasts were driven into a distant land by God after the giants had all died off. Which, I'm telling you, giants still exist. I just heard a scream. I'll be right back, guys. Sorry, I gotta go check on Lily. She's out there by herself, and you gotta make sure everything's okay. I'll be right back. Don't tell anyone. Sorry, guys, my dog's being a nag. Oh, jeez. Can't get a freaking break. Freaking weird. All right. Could that distant land be the unexplored wilderness beyond the Appalachian Mountains? That was the thinking of President Jefferson, who in 1803 had acquired 800,000 square miles of Trans-Mississippi Territory from the French. In such vastness, he reasoned, there is surely space enough for such creatures. Some scientists think that mastodons or mammoths continued to range certain parts of the United States until about 5,000 years ago, when they were probably driven into extinction by Stone-Age people. However, earlier this century, speculation ran high that in some remote corner of the world like Alaska or Siberia, mastodons or mammoths might still be found alive. In 1918, an elderly Russian hunter told the French consul in Vladivostok that he tracked down and killed a huge animal with big white tusks that were very curved. The mysterious creature had dark chest-colored hair, which seemed shorter in the front. Could this have been a real mammoth? Perhaps, some scientists acknowledge, pointing to recent discoveries of frozen mammoth cadavers excavated in 30,000-year-old ice crevices in Siberia. One 40,000-year-old baby mammoth found in eastern Russia in the late 1970s was so well preserved that the body was virtually unaffected by decomposition. Are there other giant creatures from the Pleistocene hiding somewhere? Early European explorers reported seeing elephant creatures in North America, but provided no proof. However, it is known that the dwarf branch of mammoths survived on Randall Island in the Arctic Sea north of Siberia until just 4,000 years ago, about the same time the pyramids were being raised in Egypt. And there are reports that there is a pyramid there up in not Alaska, it's basically up in the North Pole and the Arctic. Thunder of the Gods. For centuries, people living in the central Montana Rockies have reported hearing strange sounds echoing across the higher elevations. Some say the noise resembles the discharge of a cannon. Others liken it to cracking ice. The Indians called the mysterious noise thunder of the gods. Whenever the sounds were heard, they said it meant the gods were angry. When explorers Meriwether Lewis and William Clark heard about the old stories on their visit to the region in the early 1800s, they dismissed them as superstitious prattle. Then, in June 1805, as their expedition pushed deeper into the Rocky Mountains, the famed adventurers began to reconsider. We have reportedly and repeatedly heard a strange noise coming from the mountains, they wrote in their journal. It is heard at different periods of the day and night, sometimes when the air is perfectly still and without a cloud. It is loud and resembles precisely the sound of a 6-pound piece of ordnance. Some decades earlier, Daniel Jones of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences studied similar occurrences near the West River Mountain in New Hampshire. Peasants there became obsessed with these oddities. Jones noted, adding that the sounds were similar to inexplicable booming noises heard during colonial times near what is now Hartford, Connecticut. Sounds the Indians called mudas, meaning strange noises. Loud, unexplained noises that shattered windows and rattled houses are nothing new in the lore of strange phenomena. Mysterious booming sounds go back thousands of years to the time of Aristotle, who wrote of strange subterranean noises that frightened citizens, sometimes jolting them out of their beds. Philosophers guess that strong winds were responsible, but subsequent theorists have linked these aberrant sounds to everything from collapsing riverbanks, falling meteors, ghosts, and cracking ice to earthquakes, falling boulders, and parts of the continental shelf falling off. The fact is, nobody knows for sure what they are, and that's what has a lot of people scared, especially folks living along the North Carolina coast, who've been hearing the sounds for years. We hear it all the time, a rolling, crashing noise that makes you think every window in the house is going to break, said Fred Schlesinger, part-time resident of Bald Head Island, near Wilmington. That's funny. Old Head Island with the crack. Jim Lanier, director of the North Carolina Aquarium at Fort Fisher, said, "It's pretty dramatic. It sounds exactly like artillery fire, artillery guns booming way off the coast." The booms have been heard in almost every country in the world, known as fog belches in Holland. They go by dozens of names elsewhere. The Haitians call them gauffre or galfre. The Nova Scotians, airquakes or sea farts. What? In Ontario, they are known as Cornwall thumps, while in Florida, they are just air sounds. British officials stationed at Barisal in Bangladesh near the mouth of the Ganges River knew them as Barisal guns, the name scientists generally use today when describing the phenomenon. Since the days of Lewis and Clark, scientists have tried unsuccessfully to solve the riddle of these mysterious Barisal guns. The most ambitious attempt was launched in 1978. That was a good year. By the Naval Research Laboratory at the request of U.S. Congress. Their conclusion, 2/3 of the events were caused by supersonic aircraft, even when no aircraft is nearby, while the rest were ascribed to known causes. Researchers have found that audible booms can be produced by an earthquake shockwave, which causes the ground to vibrate up and down, sending sound waves into the air just like a loudspeaker. By using a seismometer, microphone, and tape recorder during a 1975 California earthquake, David Hill of the U.S. Geological Survey recorded a boom from a shockwave that caused no obvious tremors. The sound was a soft rumble, sort of like distant thunder, said Dr. Hill, who thinks that most reported brontides, the name used by Italians to describe the phenomenon, have been associated with earthquakes or with distant explosions, transmitted by freakish atmospheric conditions. Thomas Gold, an astrophysicist at Cornell University, agrees that many brontides have been caused by earthquakes, but his calculations show that to produce a very loud boom, an earthquake must be strong enough to be felt. Therefore, he reasoned, the earthquake theory doesn't account for loud booms accompanied by earth tremors, nor does it account for the many reports that mention booms along with flames. So Dr. Gold has revived a theory that was used at the turn of the century to explain the lake guns heard in upstate New York at Seneca. He suggested that some brontides are caused by high-pressure natural gas that escapes rapidly from the ground and explodes into the air, perhaps sometimes igniting into flames. Donald Steierman, a geophysicist at the University of California at Riverside, who has studied the flow of gas underground, says Dr. Gold's hypothesis has no merit. Except in very special circumstances like geysers or mud volcanoes, gas doesn't escape from the ground quickly enough to produce booming sounds, he said. His guess is that most of the natural booms are caused by earthquakes. While the scientists continue their debate, the Barisal guns are likely to go right on booming. That's right, guys. We just finished this book. We finished it. So, we're going to have to move on to our next one. Yeah, so, while I go and do that, oh, it's so hot. We're going to go to our music break. So on this break, we have Miss Mia Savage with her band, Antidote for Savages, and Miss Mia is quite talented. She reminds me of a little tiny Trent Reznor, but much prettier. She's going to be singing Your Skeleton, Our New Reality, The Miriam Crypto, and Let Me Be Your Home. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break.
That I couldn't take it, no matter how that he brings anymore. You're mine. You're mine. Tonight. You're mine. Lost souls in a sea of broken hearts. Won't let you fall apart. We'll make a brand new start. When you coming back, I wanna take a ride. I wanna show him love. I wanna knock him down. Come with me to our new reality. You don't need all the shit that he brings anymore. You're mine. You're mine. Tonight. You're mine. Come with me to our new reality. You don't need all the shit that he brings anymore. You're mine. You're mine. Tonight. You're mine. You're mine. You're mine.
Mm-hmm. Not if you know. Do you see my crypto?
Take me to your leader or leave me alone.
Somebody please take me home. One more.
Do you wanna go for a ride in my consensual sex van? Do you wanna go for a ride in my consensual sex van? Let me take you far just get in the van.
Freaking van. Just get in the van. Let's go. Come on. Let's do this. Right, now I'm looking over here. Still not playing over here, but whatever. Alright, so I found a new book for us to read. This one I also inherited from my grandpa Cookie when he passed away. More of Hollywood's unsolved mysteries. From Elvis, Marilyn, Jean Harlow, Nick Adams, and beyond, the true stories behind 9 celebrated cases. What does the cover say? All were celebrities whose legendary careers have been overshadowed by the mystery surrounding their deaths. Each of these stars was either murdered or committed suicide for no apparent reason, with most of the true facts never revealed to the press, the public, or the police because of cover-ups. You know how our government is. You will learn why Elvis Presley's autopsy reports, death certificate, and death scene photos were doctored or are missing, along with numerous other irregularities. If you look at the so over on Spreaker, and it might be on YouTube too, we had a guest on that was talking about the mysterious death of Elvis Presley, and he was going to do Marilyn Monroe but didn't do that. He was going to do JFK but didn't do that because there's so many crazy people out there that are trying to cover this stuff up. But who the FBI believes was responsible for Marilyn Monroe's death, and exactly what J. Edgar Hoover's personal files had on Kennedy brothers' relationship with the sex goddess and others. How Jean Harlow died at age 26 from something that happened on her wedding night to Paul Byrne 5 years earlier. How nasty, unfounded lies about Carol Landis' past lies spread by the bitches of Bel-Air suddenly prevented her from working, and why Rex Harrison denied his affair with Carol following her suicide over an unwanted pregnancy. How producer Thomas Ince was shot by newspaper baron William Randolph Hearst with a bullet that was actually meant for Charlie Chaplin because of the comedian's attentions to Hearst's mistress Marion Davies. So the author of this book is John Austin. He spent 30 tumultuous controversial years covering Hollywood for newspapers, magazines, radio networks, and trade journals around the world. He was the international editor for The Hollywood Reporter and now writes an internationally syndicated column. He is noted for calling his shots as he sees them, regardless of the toes he steps on. He was had recently appeared on numerous TV shows including Inside Edition, Larry King Live, and Inside Report. John Austin's previous books include Hollywood's Unsolved Mysteries, The George Jessel Story, and Surrogate. He resides in Northern California. Oh my gosh, there's so many pictures. I love pictures in books. So this book was written for Archie and Groucho. Whoever said people don't own cats, cats own people, knew of what they spoke. And for Chester, the little white waif, we will never forget. Rest in peace. Every unpunished murder takes away something from the security of every man's life. At the risk of losing something of a reputation as a prophet, the writer will predict that someday one of the scandal-scented mysteries of filmdom will be cleared up. Motion picture circles have suffered alike from scandal and rumors of scandal. Deaths from violence or by mysterious means have been hinted at but never proved. C.F. Adelsberger, Long Beach, California, 1932. The author's note and acknowledgments. The deaths recounted herein and the lack of motive or the absence of any discernible rhyme or reason for these deaths form the basis for more of Hollywood's unsolved mysteries. In some cases, dialogue between characters has been invented by the author, but in such fashion as to fit the scene being written and dialogue which could have transpired between the parties, police, protagonists, antagonists, and others involved. Other dialogue has come from news accounts of the day about the murders, suicides, or whatever, and from the author's memory and the notes covering the death scenes as an accredited press representative in several of the cases. Dialogue has also been reconstructed from accounts of others who were present at some of the scenes. In any book of this nature, it is necessary to use this method. The author wishes to acknowledge the staff of Shapolsky Publishers and Ian Shapolsky for their guidance, help, and enthusiasm in bringing this project and the previous volume to fruition. In addition, many thanks to Marvin Page's motion picture and TV research service for locating most of the very important pictures that illustrate this book. No other research service could provide such exclusive illustrations of the past as those which appear in several chapters herein and in the previous volume. Acknowledgement also goes to SPC, which is Software Publishing Corps, and Professional Right 2.2, John Austin, Killenry, Killarney, Ireland, 1991. Contents. Okay. The fuck? What the crap is going on here? So it goes over the contents. Holy crack. Yeah, I could go through these. I guess I should. So the prologue. Cover-ups. A Hollywood Way of Life. Chapter 1. Why we wrote this second volume. Oh, let's first go to the oligarchy, or oligarchies. A form of government in which the power is vested in a few persons or in a dominant class or clique. Government by the few, the state or organization so ruled, the person or persons so ruling. Random House Dictionary. So, contents, prologue, cover-ups, A Hollywood Way of Life, Chapter 1. Why we wrote the second volume, threats following the publication or the first edition. What was the gist of the calls? Why we no longer live in Los Angeles. Why the threats mainly concern Marilyn Monroe. What was the plus side? The blatant cover-ups of the 20s and 30s. How did the Fatty Arbuckle affair of 1921 influence Hollywood and its future dealings with the police and the press? How much did Arbuckle scandal cost the industry? Have cover-ups always been successful? 1. In Hollywood, it is suppressed. Alright, so let's just go to the first chapter because. So this is Carol Landis in a scene from Hal Roach's 1 Million Years BC. And this was in 1940, in which she starred with Victor Mature or Lon Chaney Jr., a remake of the same film in the 1960s, created another star, Raquel Welch. Let's check it out. Look at her. Hello, boys. Well, isn't she fanciful? And this one says, Don Murray and Marilyn Monroe on location during the shooting of Buster. Look at her. She's so beautiful. She's so pretty. Just look at her. Doesn't even look like Marilyn Monroe. Holy shnikes. Prologue, cover-ups, A Hollywood Way of Life. And, Hollywood is crazy. As expected, we received many threats following the publication of Volume 1 of Hollywood's Unsolved Mysteries. All of the calls except one were anonymous, as they usually are. Callers of this nature generally do not have the courage of their convictions. The gist of most of the calls was, forget about ever making it in the industry again. You've had it. We never dignify such threats with a reply. as it was obvious most of the callers had been put up to it. Obviously, they had not read the book. If they had, they would have learned that we have retired from covering the film industry and no longer live in Los Angeles. We couldn't care less about the day-to-day operations of the business. The closest we come to the industry these days is an occasional reading of the Hollywood Reporter and the Weekly Variety. We also received threats concerning Marilyn Monroe and the accusations revealed against the brothers Kennedy, President John F. and Robert, about their affairs with Marilyn. On the plus side, many astute questions were asked by the listeners of the 150 talk shows on which we appeared to publicize Volume 1. A very good question listeners asked was, is there really a free press in Hollywood? The answer, of course, is a resounding no way. Many of the unsolved mysteries herein took place when Los Angeles and the surrounding communities had very corrupt police forces. The LAPD was supposedly cleaned up in the 1950s. Please. When William H. Parker took control. By then, the policies of the studios were already set. Bribes and favors were rampant from the 1920s through the 1940s, and although the scandals waned, the dictatorial policies of the oligarchy remained intact. However, with regard to the murder of Marilyn Monroe, Parker transgressed his own order-forcing rules in the hope of becoming director of the FBI during the Kennedy administration. We will go further into the Monroe murder in these pages. And a lot of people think that she took her own life, but pretty damn sure she got murdered. Hello, beautiful Sister Sandra. In the cases of Thelma Todd, Jean Harlow's husband Paul Byrne, and indirectly Harlow herself, there were blatant cover-ups, false death certificates, and missing witnesses. This applies as well to movie pioneer Thomas Ince and Carol Landis's death to protect a British actor and 20th Century Fox. In some cases, of course, there were no cover-ups, just no solution to the murders. These include the Black Dahlia, aka Elizabeth Short, and the still unsolved murder of Karen Kupcinet. Someone recently asked us, is that one really unsolved? These two and more, however, are the subject of yet another volume, along with Tough Guy, Steve Cochran, Barbara, Mrs. Mickey, Rooney, and Yugoslav Connection, and Robert Decker's Bizarre Death. The real reason for John Belushi's drug-related death can also be considered another of Hollywood's unsolved mysteries. I love John Belushi, he was so cool. So are the murders of Jose and Kitty Menendez, which were scheduled to come to trial in late 1990. New evidence being developed may even free the two sons, Eric and Lyle, charged, as of this writing, with the murders. There's still a lot yet to be written about the unsolved murder of William Desmond Taylor, while two authors within the past 5 years claim to have solved his murder. It still raises doubts. Nevertheless, under all circumstances, the industry has to be protected. The general consensus is that major scandals could have an effect on the entire filmland community. This was particularly true in the 20s and 30s, when many of the unsolved mysteries recounted herein took place. The United States was in the midst of the worst depression in its history, brought about by the greed of stock manipulators of the era. The moguls, in concert, felt that any scandal involving Hollywood stars could affect the box office, something they could not afford. The Fatty Arbuckle affair of 1921 is a case in point. Even though the rotund comedian was acquitted after a third trial, the fact that he was questioned about the rape and death of starlet Virginia Rape, or Rapp, lost him forever the public's admiration as a screen favorite. Despite the acquittal, his career was over. Following this experience, the industry vowed never to let another scandal stand in the way of box office grosses. Withdrawing the Arbuckle comedies, which were already making the rounds of the nation, cost the producers and theaters millions of dollars, not to mention the Arbuckle films in the can and awaiting release. fans who a few weeks before the scandal broke had been convulsed by Arbuckle's antics on screen now tossed rotten eggs whenever Flatty's image appeared. Ew. Sounds gross. Considered classics, the comedies were never again to be seen on the screens of the world. His contract, which would have paid Arbuckle $3 million, a mega fortune in those days, was cancelled. At the age of 46, he died from a heart attack. It was then that the Arbuckle syndrome came into effect. Cover up through whatever means possible of any future scandal that could hurt the oligarchy and the box office. Sometimes it has succeeded, other times the truth has prevailed, many years after the fact in some cases, but for many of Hollywood's mysteries, the truth has managed to leak out, partially or in full. Unfortunately, however, not in most of these cases. So enjoy, which I shall. Ooh, look at her. A studio portrait of Marilyn while under the contract of 20th Century Fox. Look at that gorgeous babe. What a delight. Wow. Just check my sound over here really quick. Yep, that's working. Yep, that's working. Yep. Alrighty. Fade in. Studio portrait of MGM of Harlow in the early 1930s. Look at you. Look at you, Miss Jean Harlow. One in Hollywood, it is suppressed. They, Hollywood's founding moguls, preached of the good, noble, and beautiful, and they themselves fostered in their lives and works the evil, the ignoble, the ugly. There's not a reporter in Hollywood who could not rock the country by sitting down at his typewriter and recalling merely a portion of the things he knows. In a business reeking with incompetence and corruption, the excitement of the lads at having an uncensored Hollywood studio press is understandable. And that was by Douglas Churchill. Hollywood. The name invokes 1,000 fantasies. Dreams of the good life. Stardom, fame, fortune. Little does anyone understand the physical and emotional price that must be paid to fulfill these fantasies. The magic vision of mass acceptance and the good life cost many their lives. Marilyn Monroe, Tom Ince, Carol Landis, Jean Harlow, Nick Adams, the list continues endlessly, and for many, their deaths remain a mystery. In order for the reader to understand how the unsolved mysteries of Hollywood related in this book and in the first volume could have occurred, an important facet of Hollywood must be related. For many decades, dating back to the Arbuckle scandal of 1921 to 22, recounted in the prologue, many members of the Hollywood press corps have engaged in critical battles with those who rule the movie industry. During the 20s and 30s, reporters covering the industry were often the victims of vicious, well-calculated cover-ups. Hey, boy.
Are you still doing your show?
Yeah, I am.
Well, did you get me one of those helicopter things?
No, Lily said she was going to share it with you.
She's not.
Well, they're like $8 a piece, and I only bought one, and she said she was going to share it with you.
Well, she's not. She's
Well,
acting all sexy because the dog spilled the gum.
Oh, it spilled her candy?
No, not her candy. Her candy is a gum.
Pretty sure your shirt is on backwards. But yeah, it is. Anyways, tell her to share.
Whoa, Mom.
Well said.
I don't know. I don't know what I was going to say.
Well, me neither.
I was just confused.
You guys are back pretty early from gaming.
Probably because we didn't get to.
Oh. You guys
I
just
call
hang
it
out with
Dad's-
Kenzie or
I
what?
call it Dad's pooping thing.
I'm sorry, boy.
Yeah. music all the time.
During the 20s and 30s, reporters covering the industry were often the victims of vicious, well-calculated cover-ups. News was altered to suit the circumstance. Journalists were to believe that what Hollywood oligarchy told them, whether it was truth or not. Hollywood's media manipulation continues to this day. It is carried out by so-called power brokers. Egotistical agents, Michael Ovitz, founder of the CMA agency, who control the distribution of information. Over the years, Ovitz has developed a stranglehold on most of the major talent in Hollywood. Ovitz, who sits like a little dictator at his semi-circular desk in his pie-designed Wilshire Boulevard monument to himself, instinctually decides the fate of those in pursuit of stardom. He is one of the most feared and loathed men in the industry. Aided and abetted by the film studios, Ovitz and powermongers like him control what is said about Hollywood and who says it. It is local lore that if you cross one of these power brokers, you can forget about a career advancement in Hollywood. The determination of the film industry to control news originated within or about itself came out into the open in the early 1930s. Editors of newspapers and fan magazines alike were told that no stories were to appear without the written permission of the studio publicity department involved. The Hayes office, as the censorship bureau, was known throughout the industry, even insisted that it stamped the back of every still photograph used by the studios for publicity purposes. If any photograph was published without having approved for publication, rubber stamped on the back, the magazine could be boycotted by the industry for both advertisement and story material. One such imprint from RKO Radio Pictures reads, "Permission is hereby granted to newspapers, magazines, and other periodicals to reproduce this photograph. This is an exclusive photograph, therefore it may not be syndicated, rented, or loaned, nor used for advertising purposes." Imprints from other studios were far more stringent, with some even containing words, "Written permission must be obtained from Miracle Pictures before this photograph can be reproduced." This control problem reached the point that newsmen with a reputation of not adhering to studio journalism rules were barred from many studios. Other writers were threatened. There's a typo there, it says others writers, but other writers were threatened, and there were even a few minor skirmishes during the very difficult days of the 1930s, when money ruled Hollywood, and Hollywood was the eighth wonder of the world. Many of the unsolved mysteries herein took place during this period. The Hollywood crackdown was started by William Patterson, an executive of Paramount Theaters in New York. In concert with George Trindle, a Paramount partner, they succeeded in having syndicated columnist Sidney Skolsky of the New York News banned from running articles in the Detroit Free Press. They also dictated that from running that unless Skolsky's column was pulled, there would be no more industry advertising. In the Detroit tabloid, they indicated that Alfred Lasker, president of Lord & Thomas, then the country's largest ad agency, would be asked to cooperate in pulling all L&T advertising. That meant a considerable amount for the paper, and since the dollar always rules in business, Skolsky's column was pulled. In Boston, St. Louis, and other major cities throughout the country, newspapers borrowed the pressure and ran nothing of a detrimental nature to Hollywood, specifically Skolsky's nationally syndicated column. The irony of it all is that the column in question was so innocuous that condemning its contents defied common sense. If the actions taken by the studios had not had such a far-reaching effect, the material in the column would never have been given a second thought. But the powers at Paramount decreed that the following statements by Skolsky destroyed screen illusions. Although appearing as an aviator, James Cagney is afraid to look off a tall building. A pane of glass protected the baby in Sequoia from the snake. In spite of studio publicity declaring Jean Harlow sang and danced and Reckless, doubles were used. Scenes in Les Miserables between Charles Laughton and Frederick March were filmed a month apart, although they were supposedly looking at each other. A night shot in The Glass Key was made at noon, and the door scene in the background was that of Marlene Dietrich's dressing room. Paramount is having trouble adapting the stories of Dashiell Hammett. Public Hero number 1 was made quickly and at a very small cost to cash in on the G-Man cycle and popularity of the FBI. With this type of censorship, it can be seen how easy it was for the founding fathers of the industry and the oligarchy to sweep the causes, reasons, motives, and or what have you of notorious Hollywood deaths under the rug. Douglas Churchill in the 1930s wrote a scathing article about the problems of Hollywood press for the newspaper publishing trade magazine, editor and publisher. While the charges against Skolsky were unimportant, they are significant in one respect. They indicate the true frenzy to which the industry would be aroused should an attempt be made to report more serious dereliction by any Hollywood stars or industry. Most newsmen reading the article, of which mimeographed photos were widely distributed in Hollywood, knew that Churchill was hinting at murders, mayhem, maliciousness, and up to the time of that article, there had been several strange Hollywood-related murders and suicides, which had been underreported by all members of the Hollywood Press Corps. No charges were ever leveled at the accuracy of Skolsky's reports, but the move was viewed by the film industry as a masterstroke by Patterson. It was a way to keep the press in line and permit only what the studios wanted to report. William Pine, Paramount's chief of publicity and head of West Coast advertising, he was later rewarded with a producer's post, made certain that Skolsky's matter was well publicized by having it prominently printed in trade journals including The Hollywood Reporter, Daily Variety, and the Motion Picture Herald. The latter a Quigley publication which was widely read among distributors and exhibitors. These 3 trade papers featured stories which ensured that the Hollywood Press Corps was well aware of the quasi-censorship being imposed upon it. In many ways, whether overground, underground, via telephone, or at lunches at the Brown Derby, the industry spearheaded by the Hayes office put out the word that it would brook no interference. While the Skolsky matter was in progress, Pine told members of the press that if their newspapers and magazines persisted in printing revealing material regarded by his organization, Paramount as contrary to the studio's interest, then advertising would not only be shut off to their publications, but that the correspondent involved would have his accreditation pulled. It was out-and-out economic blackmail and total censorship. Another method the industry uses, which more or less assures a subjective press, is the time-worn practice of winning and dining the press following screenings of borderline films. These parties for the press are given with the sole intention and generally successful of softening reviews on bad pictures or inspiring extraordinary ones on good films. Another favorite move is to bring writers and reviewers face to face with producers, stars, and directors for a chat during the party following the screenings. It is only natural for a journalist to temper his remarks in discussing a bad film with its makers, especially after a few drinks and a Chasen's catered dinner. If the reviewer or writer treated the picture with candor and print, the heck? If it was a bomb, very often his words spoken at such a party were regurgitated to him. The obvious mistake was then, and still is, attending the parties, or perhaps a better term would be inquisition. But then again, didn't most film journalists get into the industry for the glamour? I don't know. But check it out, it's Bing Crosby and Marion Davies in a scene from the 1974 MGM special. That's Entertainment, from one of Crosby's earlier films in which he appeared with Davies. Oh, they look so cute, and look at them. Look at these guys. Look at you. Just look at you. They're so pretty, both of them. Aww. So reporters today are considered to be in good standing on the lots only when they act as unpaid press agents for the studios. There is no tolerance toward negative press, hence the reason for so many unsolved mysteries. The press kowtows to the industry when it comes to sweeping scandals under the rug. The scandals printed in the national tabloids, by contrast, are generally tips from inside informants, picking up substantial finder's fees from the tabloids for the information. Many times, those tips come from members of the Hollywood press corps, afraid to use the material themselves because of the threat of losing their accreditation. This lengthy preamble has been necessary in order for the reader to understand how Hollywood operates. It also serves as an illustration as to how easy it is for the oligarchy to use its powers of economic persuasion. Keep the dirt under the rugs of the Beverly Hills mansions, in which it usually originates. It was in this fashion that Universal Pictures managed to keep the homosexuality of Rock Hudson under wraps for 3 decades. In fact, when the defunct Confidential magazine advised the studio that it was going to publish a story of Hudson cruising the gay bars, the studio gave the magazine the story of George Nader's homosexuality instead. It destroyed Nader's promising U.S. career, but Hudson's was saved. When Hudson died, George Nader inherited the bulk of his estate. Nader, the victim of one more vicious, underhanded double dealings in Hollywood, did go on to make several films in Italy and Spain, España. Nevertheless, the total destruction of a man's career is just one more example of how vicious members of the oligarchy can be when it comes to protecting one of its favorite box office powerhouses, who could put one more Rolls-Royce along with Ferrari in the garage. So here's Rock Hudson at the time he was saved from homosexual stigma, at the expense of actor George Nader. Confidential magazine was going to claim that Hudson liked to cruise gay bars. The studio gave him a story on George Nader's homosexuality to save Hudson's career. And then George Nader, the sacrificial lamb for Rock Hudson's career. Isn't it amazing, like, how beautiful these gay men are? Just look at them. They're beautiful. How beautiful they are. Why? Why are they so pretty? Hollywood has also always been envisioned by many millions of people of the world over as the epitome of glamour, money, sex, beautiful women, and many affluent gays, but not necessarily in that order. Hollywood has also been the backdrop for some of the most mysterious deaths, suicides, and other forms of mayhem in the annals of police files. Few of those deaths, supposed suicides or otherwise, have been solved to complete satisfaction of the Los Angeles Police Department. In many cases during the 20s, 30s, and 40s, and into the early 50s, those same police departments did the bidding of the oligarchy. The honorariums had to be earned when the LAPD was known to be corrupt, or at the very least, cooperative. It is our observation, after covering the Hollywood scene for more than 30 years, as our father did before us, that none of the cases herein or in our previous volume will ever have the case closed stamp printed on the files. Most of the following cases and others are still open, although the chance of solving any one of them are remote indeed, particularly as most of the crime scenes had been sanitized and rigged prior to the arrival of the police. So Thomas H. Ince, one of the early pioneers of the industry and a known genius of the early cinematic art, when he was shot, who was William Randolph Hearst aiming at, Ince or Charlie Chaplin? Why was the real cause of Ince's death pulled from the Los Angeles Times after one late-night edition? Carol Landis. Why did she commit suicide when her career was on the wane? Was it over the dishonorable intentions of the married British cad and row, Rex Harrison, or over the rumors spread by the bitches of Bel Air about Carol's early days? Lupe Velez. Would the shame of being an unmarried mother cause this tempestuous, beautiful, and famous Mexican-born film star, who was a devout Catholic, to commit suicide? Paul Byrne. Even though it appeared to be a suicide, we have pieced together evidence that the death of Jean Harlow's husband was engineered by mobster Abner Longy Zwilman. The Chicago gangster was Harlow's lover for several years. Why did MGM mogul Louis B. Mayer attempt to remove the supposed suicide note left behind by Byrne? For some of these mysteries, we believe we have found the solutions. We believe you will agree that most of our conclusions make sense in light of the foregoing and from what follows in these pages. Over the years, there have been many, many strange aspects to deaths of Hollywood legends. The case files are filled with star deaths from accidental homicides, suicides with no apparent motives, as well as tales of disappearing evidence and sycophants who saw or heard nothing. I didn't see nothing, I didn't hear nothing. There are legends of distinct attorneys and others who have accepted honorariums or guarantees of large campaign contributions for a run at whatever office to which they might later aspire. Through hype, support, expert public relations, free celebrity endorsements, and cash, oligarchy has been responsible for electing 3 presidents of the United States and at least 3 governors of California, to say nothing of many congressmen and senators. Behind the scenes, it has been responsible for the appointment of innumerable judges to the right benches. These include Fitz, who was on the lake for years, starting with William Desmond Taylor, case of 1922. Is it then any wonder that the oligarchy has had the muscle, the power, and the wherewithal to accept many of the mysteries recounted herein unsolved? If that was what they wanted, you be the judge and the jury. Oh no. So here's a picture. Los Angeles Police Captain Burt Wallace, rumored to be a relative of Warner Brothers producer Hal Wallace, looking at Thelma's body behind the wheel of her car in the garage. To illustrate how the press was immediately misled by Wallace, he claimed her death was due to heart disease, and without the benefit of a coroner's opinion. Ew. And then this one is of Nick Adams in a scene from Fury at Showdown. But look at this picture. Ew. So yeah, that's heart disease? I don't think so. And here's the other one. Showdown. Look at you. What was the real cause of Elvis's death? Elvis performing very early in his career at the Las Vegas Hilton. It was at the Hilton that he appeared that Elvis's manager, Andre Van Kujic, aka the Colonel, Tom Parker, made better deals for himself than he did for Elvis. This included a year-round suite and gambling fund. He was a crazy-ass gambler, and his gambling debt actually, I believe, killed Elvis. But look at this. Look at Elvis.
my first crush. He's so handsome. Look at you. He's so handsome. What was the real cause of Elvis's death? Aw, look at him. A studio portrait of Elvis while at Paramount Pictures. Paramount. Oh, look at that. Purdy. 2. Elvis. The mystery lingers and deepens. You've got to accept the challenge of death, otherwise you'll live in fear of it. Elvis Aaron Presley. It's been over 13 years since the death of Elvis Presley in the bathroom of his Memphis, Tennessee mansion, Graceland. With continuing sales of his records and other licensed assets, trustees have admitted that Elvis's estate has increased many times over since his death. Why? What is the legend surrounding the continuing popularity of Elvis Presley? What was the real cause of Elvis Aaron Presley's death? Within an hour of Elvis's demise, an autopsy was conducted. At its conclusion, Dr. Jerry Francisco, the county coroner, had determined that the cause was cardiac arrhythmia, a coronary disease. Natural causes. A phase generally reserved for someone in their 70s, not a man of 42. But, following the autopsy, everyone asked what had happened to the prescribed drugs Elvis had been taking. When questioned about the drugs, Francisco stated the only drugs detected were those prescribed by Mr. Presley's personal physician for hypertension and blockage of the colon. And it's crazy because his daughter actually died from the same thing. Even though she had surgery to tighten her tummy and stuff, she died from basically colon blockage. Freaking crazy. A strange statement for a coroner to make. How could all the drugs Elvis was known to have been taking even the night before his death not show up? Exactly. What the heck is going on? On his last night on Earth, only hours before his death, Elvis and his 20-year-old fiancée, Ginger Alden, had gone to the dentist at midnight. What? The reason for treatment at that strange hour was to avoid being mobbed by fans. Admirers from all parts of the country, in fact from throughout the world, were always on vigil outside the gates of Graceland, waiting for a glimpse of their idol. Ginger Alden had her teeth x-rayed. Elvis had a cavity filled and his teeth cleaned. By this time in his life, Elvis was a 250-pound caricature of himself. Nevertheless, to his intensely loyal fans and admirers, he would always be Elvis, the king. According to Alden's account of Elvis's last night as immortal, when the two returned to Graceland, the 22-room mansion purchased when the money started to roll in, Alden and Presley discussed plans for their upcoming wedding and decided to make the announcement at Christmas. Then they went in to see Lisa Marie, Elvis's 9-year-old daughter born to his first wife Priscilla, who had discovered Elvis in 1973. Lisa Marie was at Graceland on a visit. By this time it was 5 a.m. Next, Elvis decided he wanted to play racquetball. He and Ginger woke up, 2 visiting cousins, and the 4 of them tripped outside and played on the lighted court until 7 a.m. Obviously, because he had taken some uppers, Elvis was still not sleepy. He dressed in a pair of blue pajamas and told Ginger he was going into the bathroom to read. Alden retired to her room adjoining that of Presley and went to sleep. She did not awaken until 2 p.m. Once she was alert, Alden checked on Elvis's bedroom and noticed the bed had not been slept in. She went to the bathroom door and called his name. In an interview with the Memphis Commercial Appeal, she described what had happened. He didn't answer, so I opened his bathroom door, and that's when I saw him in there. I thought at first he might have hit his head because he had fallen, and his face was buried in the carpet. I slapped him a few times, and it was like he breathed once when I turned his head. I lifted one eyelid and it was just blood red, but I couldn't move him. Alden said she then ran out and called Elvis's bodyguards, who obviously weren't guarding the body, and apparently had not even checked on their charge since he had answered the front door and signed for a delivery at 9:30 a.m. The two men beat on Elvis's chest and tried mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, but it was too late. He had been left too long before being discovered. The king of rock and roll was dead at the age of 42. Elvis Aaron Presley was a phenomenon without equal in the entertainment world. Ever since his first electrifying appearance on the famed Ed Sullivan Show in 1956, Elvis was acclaimed as a musical deity. His lusty blend of sexual charm and rock and roll created a musical style which has been copied ever since. Following his death, John Rockwell, music critic for the New York Times, summarized the impact Elvis had on the world. For most people, Elvis Presley was rock and roll. And they were right. Bill Haley may have made the first massive rock hit, and people such as Chuck Berry and Little Richard may have had an equally important creative impact on this raucous new American art form. But it was Elvis who defined the style and gave it an indelible image. During his lifetime, Presley's record sales totaled more than 500 million discs. Presley's records to date have sold more than 1 billion copies in all forms. Elvis is second only to the Beatles in total sales. But as fans say, there was more to Elvis than his music. There was sex appeal. When he first appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show and on CBS television, he was photographed only from the waist up. The Standards and Practices Division of CBS had seen a rehearsal of Presley's spot and decided that America, and particularly the network, would not be allowed to see his wildly gyrating hips that mesmerized his young female followers wherever he appeared. To all his fans and to many of his detractors in the music press, Elvis had it all. With his black hair cascading over his forehead and his dark brooding eyes, he was considered ruggedly handsome. Elvis Presley won the hearts and ears of a generation as he swiveled hips his way across concert stages of the United States to the pounding rhythms of such classic tunes as Jailhouse Rock and All Shook Up. As one early critic admitted, Elvis Presley has a sex appeal that guarantees his future success. Unlike other rock and rollers of his era, Elvis possesses, to our mind, real musical talent, which should elevate him to the top of rock and roll heap. And so it did. Well, you guys, on that note, we are going to go to our second music break. We'll just put this little bookmark here, and we'll just pick up where we left off on this. But this has been really good so far. I'll walk a lot. So, on this break, we have Miss Mia Savage, who, as I said before, is our little mini Trent Reznor. She does all the music by herself, lyrics, music, everything. She's going to be singing Not a Phase, Singing to Your Grave, and the bottom line, you guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break. Welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us this evening on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. So for the third hour, we are going to look into some very spooky videos. So here, let me show this to you. This is Nuke's Top 5. You ready? Want to talk about it? Like here? Here we go.
There's something in the basement. Keeps the fire all reached out to me. Will be sleeping, but what happens next is literally like something from a nightmare.
What's that, man? Shadow bastard.
What the hell? As Oliver looks inside the bedroom, he sees a tall, dark figure standing inside the room. Startled by the creepy apparition, Oliver stumbles back before turning on the lights and taking another look. But whatever was standing there seems to have just disappeared. What makes this footage even creepier? The world, countless people have reported seeing a being known as the quote, Hat Man. Although some claim to have seen the apparition while fully awake, the Hat Man is known to terrorize victims of sleep paralysis. I asked Oliver if he had ever experienced sleep paralysis in his life, and he explained that he actually did, but only when he was a child. So could Oliver have actually captured proof of the Hat Man's existence? Let me know what you think. Out of the mud. Earlier this year, the usually sunny town of Chosica, Peru suffered heavy rains and mudslides that washed through the city. The national news reported on the severe damage left behind and talked to residents who have come together to clean and rebuild the city. But there's something else in this news report that seems a bit out of place and downright creepy.
Desde el asentamiento humano Santo Domingo Comité 6, mira la escalera, ¿cómo podría bajar aquí?
Mira.
Una persona, un anciano,
It looks like he has a
los
stick in
niños,
his
¿cómo
hand.
podrían bajar? Mira.
Did you see it? While the reporter is showing the water and mud rushing down the stairs, behind her someone or something completely covered in mud appears to follow her. The reporter doesn't notice the bizarre figure and continues up the stairs as she finishes her report. The footage goes viral, with many shocked viewers speculating the figure to be some kind of creature or monster. Either way, whoever or whatever it is seems to not be wearing any clothes, have any hair,
Looks like a
and
mountain
seems
or
to have
something.
distorted features. Obviously, it seems like any normal person fighting through these conditions would be at severe risk of being washed away in the flood, or at the very least becoming very sick from the muddy, bacteria-filled water. So just who or what is this? Let me know what you think.
Creepy AF.
Hi, with the Jen. This next creepy video was posted to TikTok without a source. Some people speculate that the original creator is none other than popular Jordanian ghost hunter Ihab Kasmia, who I featured many times. But I've been unable to find the original video, so I can't verify. However, the short video is definitely very creepy.
Hey.
What the heck?
Gee. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله. فكرت في اشي وين اخوان؟ ها؟ سمعت الصوت؟ بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. اسمع صوت الصراخ.
It sounds like kids playing outside or something.
اسمع.
A face can be seen staring through the crack of the door at whoever is filming. They quickly run around the door, but there's no one there. Some believe the face to be that of a djinn, a shape-shifting sinister entity that seems to be toying with the explorer. Now, without the original source and video, we just don't know exactly what's going on here. Is it a djinn caught on camera, or is it all just an elaborate hoax? You decide.
Freaking freaky.
We need scary videos, so if you see something that you think should be on Nukes Top 5, be sure to email us at nukestop5@gmail.com. Email link in the description. Paranormal Nightmare. Paranormal investigators and brothers Josh and Sean Foreman from the YouTube channel Paranormal Nightmare TV series are contacted by a woman named Cheryl. Cheryl believes a demon is destroying her life. In a tragic series of events, Cheryl's father passed away, and not long after, her fiancé sadly took the lives of both of her children. Cheryl is now completely alone and lives in absolutely horrible conditions in a very bad neighborhood. In the 17 years, Josh and Sean said that they've never encountered a case as tragic and dangerous as this. The brothers even feel that their own personal safety could be at risk in this investigation. But nevertheless, they drive to Cheryl's home to investigate. The guys soon begin to understand exactly why Cheryl believes that she might be dealing with a demon.
I hate God.
I hate God. It said I hate God. Why do you hate God? God is going to destroy you tonight. Where are you at right now? Are you watching us?
Worthless bitch.
Worthless. Who's a worthless? Come on, tell me, who's a worthless? I think you're worthless.
Possessed.
Possessed.
That's what we want.
Oh, no way.
That's crazy.
Possessed, that's what we want. Oh, something, turn on, go out there, go. Something turned on out there.
Is that what you want to do, Cheryl? Are you wanting to possess her? Is that what you're trying to do? Whoa, there. Something just blew on my neck. Here, you stand on here for this. Yeah, something just blew on my freaking neck.
Right there.
What was it?
Something just grabbed my hip. I did not hit anything. Like right when I walked by, something just grabbed hold of my hip.
The two brothers receive very ominous replies through their spirit box, and Josh says something grabbed his hip. Sean begins to feel a pain in his stomach and takes a break outside in the car while Josh stays behind.
Please listen.
No way. Loud
Dude, this
bang.
place, there's bugs all over. It's creepy.
Said, please listen, and there's a huge freaking bang back there. Okay, that's 3 times. 3 times I've been touched.
Why?
Why are you touching me? I mean, these are not just like little touches. These are big f***ing touches.
While Josh is completely alone, he hears 2 loud bangs coming from somewhere inside Cheryl's home, after which he is touched again. After a short break, the 2 brothers switch places, and whatever seems to be inside Cheryl's home seems to get very angry.
Go to hell, Sean.
Oh,
Sean?
You. Oh,
Bitch.
you're you. Oh my God, I'm not going to f***ing hell you are. You're going back where you f***ing came from. Holy this is what I need, fucking Josh. Oh
Seriously.
my god. Yeah, well, I'd say we're definitely dealing with a freaking demon.
To end their investigation, they asked Cheryl to sit in the house alone and attempt to communicate with what they now believe to be a demon. Josh and Sean sit outside in the car. What happens next scares the living out of them.
Telling you. Check this out. When you look closer, you see
There
the
was a
shadow.
huge black shadow right next to the fucking window.
You can see it.
I looked over and there was a huge black shadow right there next to the window.
Holy let's just get out of here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sean
A
is
strange, unexplained dark mass hits the car window, giving Sean the jump scare of a lifetime. And with that, the paranormal nightmare brothers have had enough. They cleanse the home and leave. Since the investigation, Cheryl says that she has no longer had any paranormal or demonic trouble in her home or in her life. You can watch this entire investigation over on the YouTube channel, Paranormal Nightmare TV
Guys,
series.
check it out and subscribe. These guys are awesome.
The Ghostly Gift. Cassie O'Malley from Lamont, Illinois loves monkeys. So when one day she receives a monkey doll as a gift, she's absolutely thrilled.
Oh man, I've
That
seen this
is
one before.
until she opens the box.
Oh my fucking god, I swear to god, this thing just fucking looked at me. Oh my.
For a split second, the creepy monkey doll seems to look directly at Cassie.
You see it?
Oh my
it's,
fucking god, I
it's
swear to god,
fucking
this thing
looking at her.
just fucking looked at me. Oh my.
Cassie says she's tried everything to debunk what she captured on camera, but she hasn't found anything to explain it. After this recording, the doll hasn't stirred up any trouble. So for now, Cassie's keeping the creepy little monkey doll proudly on display in her home. But what would you do with a gift if it did this? Let me know
I'd
down
send
in
it back.
the comments.
Send back to the sender. Check the sender.
Oh my fucking god, I swear to god, this thing just fucking looked at me. Oh my.
Look, his eyes were straight and looked over. You can see the whites
Now,
of his eyes.
unfortunately, like a lot of videos these days, this next video was shared to the internet without a source. The video shows a woman alone at her home, which is said to be somewhere in Mexico. The woman says that she's been experiencing disturbing, unexplained activity in her home.
Empecé a grabar porque hace unos días yo sentí que había algo. Realmente yo estoy solo ahorita. Pero hace rato vi en ese cuarto como con una sombra. No sé. Mira, mira, mira.
¿Sí?
Ay, Dios. Yo realmente estoy solo. Vean. Está completamente solo. Solo estoy yo. Así puedes meter nadie aquí por la puerta. No, realmente estoy solo. Y debajo de la cama, de hecho, el espacio es muy... Vean. Ahí se alcanzó a ver. Si pueden ver, yo estoy solo. No hay nada, no hay nadie. En casa. No hay nadie. De hecho, hace días yo compré este dron porque se supone que aleja toda
And she
energía
bought this
negativa.
to protect her, but then after she
Pero ya
bought
lleva
it,
varias
there's more
noches pasando
activity.
esto.
A shadow appears through the glass of the closed door of the woman's bedroom. But when she looks, there's no one in the room. Suddenly the figure appears again, but this time outside of the bedroom. Again, the woman hurries out to search her home, but again, she finds nothing and no one to explain the creepy shadow. Unfortunately, without a source, we can only guess what happened to the woman and her creepy shadow visitor. So after many requests and 8 months later, new Top 5 merch is back. We've got shirts, we've got hoodies, we've got coffee mugs, we've got stuff for your dog, we've got stuff for your cat.
Oh, there we go.
We've got stuff you probably never even wanted to begin with. But nevertheless, we've got it. So be sure to check out the all-new merch store at News Top 5. Black story is contacted by a man named Takun about an allegedly haunted abandoned tunnel near where he lives in Wakayama Prefecture, Japan. The tunnel was constructed in the late 1800s and has become infamous for its countless suspicious deadly accidents. Witnesses driving through the tunnel have reported seeing another car with the pale apparitions of a man and woman in the front seat. These apparitions are said to haunt you for the rest of your life if you look them in the eyes. Another local ghost tale says that a woman passed away in a tragic accident in the tunnel. It is said that her spirit appears on the tunnel road, dressed all in white. Kuro meets up with Takun, and even though it's storming, they decide to investigate the tunnel together. Because of the bad storm, Takun waits in the car while Kuro explores the tunnel in search of paranormal proof. But, strangely enough, it's Takun who's all alone in the car, who experiences something truly bizarre.
So he didn't want to show his face, that's why he's wearing this mask.
でね、このさすがちょっと顔を映るのはまずいんで、来る途中にいいのがあったので買ってきました。まあマスクと帽子やったら顔はわからん。
So did you hear that? Something.
まあマスクと帽子やったら顔はわからん。
A soft female voice can just barely be heard, and in Japanese the voice seems to whisper, Kairu, which translates to, go home.
まあマスクと帽子やったら顔はわからん。まあマスクと帽子やったら顔はわからん。まあマスクと帽子やったら顔はわからん。
Meanwhile, Kuro is all alone somewhere in the middle of the tunnel, and he too experiences something he just can't explain. Now, it's not audible because of the loud storm, but Kuro swears that he heard a voice and footsteps loud enough to send him running back to the car. What makes this even creepier is that Kuro did in fact catch something on camera not long before he hears the voice and footsteps. But it isn't until he's home that he realizes what he captured. And it's absolutely chilling. This is the footage.
誰もいませんか?
Who is that? Did you see it? Oh no, oh hell no.
A pale, disfigured face of what looks like a woman can be seen right behind Kuro,
Like
and the investigator doesn't see or hear anything. When reviewing his own footage, Kuro wonders if he caught the spirit of a woman who passed away in an accident on camera, and whether she was the one warning them to go home. Kuro says that this is the most terrifying proof of the paranormal that he's ever captured. But what do you think happened here? Let me know down in the comments. You can watch this entire investigation over on the YouTube channel Black Story. Caught live on camera.
Number 3.
Popular TikTok creator Millie George is doing her makeup one night when she decides to go live to chat to her followers. It's late at night and she's home all by herself when her viewers spot something in the background that shocks her to her core.
Yeah. Okay, so on the live, right, 1 minute I'm doing my makeup in the mirror, like this, like literally doing nothing, and then everyone's like, oh, someone just walked in your house, someone just walked in your house, and I was like, stop winding me up, no one's walked in my house, like, stop winding me up, and then I walked over to the back door,
yeah.
I'll show you the back door now, look.
Alright.
I walked over to the back door,
yeah.
So this is how the camera works, the camera was like this, in my house, and you can see the back door there.
Yeah.
There's a reflection there. Because I have an automatic sensor when you walk out my back door that the back door light comes on.
Yeah.
Oh, I've just got the light. It's like, look, and you can see everything in the garden. Okay? I'm blocking the fucking door. But I'm not going to show you the CCTV footage. on my phone from my fucking live.
CCTV footage.
From the live. I got it downloaded. I downloaded the live.
And what was you supposed to have seen? Someone else?
This was 5 nights ago, by the way. Yeah, no, look. Okay, so... Alright.
Yeah, I'm watching.
I don't like this one.
Right, the door opens. Wait. I'm gonna zoom in.
Oh, no way. How did your door open?
It's glass. You can see through the door. Look. There's no one there.
Well, there is somebody there.
Bro, this is like The Ring.
And then, look, it gets worse. It gets worse, mate. I don't know what to do. I'm actually shitting myself. Look.
See her?
Oh my God. You're lying.
No, there's a
Just give me the goosebumps.
You edited that. You have to have edited that.
How have I edited it? It's come up with
a Chinese kid in there.
And then, I then walk over. At this point, I then walk in. I walk over to the door because everyone was saying there's someone behind me. And this doesn't show on the live. It's been cut. And I'm straight outside again. So it's like the camera stopped working.
Why is there a Chinese ghost in your yard, bro?
Shocked by what she's seeing, Millie shows her friend Tommy what was captured on her live broadcast. She shows that she was facing a wall during her live stream and didn't have eyes on the back door. The door seems to open by itself, and Millie's motion sensing backdoor light just doesn't turn on for some reason. Then, creepiest of all, a little girl who Millie has never seen before can be seen just walking through the house. Millie claims that she was home all alone that night and has no idea who or what this is. So, what do you think? Is this a real ghost caught on camera? Or is it all just an elaborate hoax? You decide. Sandhaven Sanatorium.
Number 2.
In the early 1900s, the Sandhaven Sanatorium in North Dakota opened its doors as a treatment center for tuberculosis patients. In later years, the sanatorium became a mental asylum. But the Sandhaven Sanatorium soon gained a reputation for horrible mistreatment of patients. The hospital was forced to close in the 1980s. It is estimated that over 1,000 people have lost their lives inside these walls, including a 17-year-old boy who fell down an elevator shaft in 2001. In a tragically ironic twist, the boy was actually on a ghost hunt in the building at the time. The abandoned structure is falling apart and it's fairly dangerous to wander around inside. Paranormal investigator Ian from the popular YouTube channel Midwest Ghost Hunter is determined to explore the sanatorium in hopes of capturing evidence of the paranormal. It's late at night as Ian begins his investigation. Things almost immediately start to get weird.
What's that sound?
Seriously?
Okay, those were footsteps.
Yeah, it sounded like high heels or something.
Damn, it's stairs.
High heels, high boots.
Ian is a bit shaken up by the strange, unexplained footsteps, but he tries to keep calm as he continues to explore.
Oh, yes, come on in. Waiting for you.
As creepy as that was, I did feel a gust of wind when that happened, and I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Oh. Don't do it. Don't do it.
See, look at that. See?
Oh, here it goes.
Holy shit. Still creepy as hell.
A door creepily opens by itself, but Ian is quick to point out it was just the wind. However, then Ian starts to hear odd noises from somewhere nearby. He goes to check it out, and something happens that he simply can't explain. Something truly chilling.
was that?
What? Did you see that? It was like an orb, but no.
I think I just saw something.
I think you did. Yeah.
Could you appear like that again? Oh my god, dude, it is cold over here.
Oh, you see that?
Oh my god, I just went into that room! Dude, it just flew into here.
Yeah, right through the window. Right through the window. Telling you. Now it looks like the door is a bit more closed when he goes up to it, but I don't know. Could be wrong.
Oh, dude!
See, it looked more
That was
open.
crazy.
Now it's more closed. What the heck?
I just saw you. Did you just go into this room?
I don't want to say that. What? What'd she say?
I need to go in there now.
What the crap? The crap did she say?
Dude, it literally sounded like a woman talking in here.
Dude, seriously.
Dude, that was so crazy. I heard that with my own ears.
Are you following me? Stop there.
Ma'am? Did you speak again? I think I just heard you.
He's so brave. Like, don't go by yourself.
Oh my god. Okay, you really spooked me there. I did not expect that. Did you just knock on a wall? Could you knock on it again? She is communicating with me right now.
Ian is excited about what he's just captured, and he believes the spirit is trying to communicate with him. But as he continues to explore, something happens that quickly turns his excitement into pure terror.
I'm being afraid already.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh my god.
And then he runs towards the screen. What? What are you doing?
Oh god. Dude.
Ian, no. Run the other way. Run towards it. Run away.
The investigator is shaken up by a disturbing plea for help, especially since he's near the elevator shaft where 22 years ago another ghost hunter fell to his death. But Ian is determined to capture more paranormal evidence, so he continues to explore the creepy abandoned hallways and rooms. Eventually, he decides to take some photos down one of the long hallways, and things start to get creepy.
I think I might try to take pictures down this hallway. A lot of people say they see shadow figures. Basically in all areas of this place.
Oh yeah, he gets some good evidence here.
I'm hoping to catch one in a photo.
He does not only in photo, but video as well. Pretty insane. Same freaking.
If there's anybody down this hallway, could you appear for me? What was that? It sounded like a breath.
Pull up.
Was that you?
The heck, dude?
Yeah, I'm hearing noises all around me right now.
I think that's a victim of tuberculosis or whatever the heck is going on then.
Whoa.
See?
I think I've got something on here. That's a figure.
That's amazing.
Oh my god, and it's gone. Dude, I just caught something. It was by that window. Holy shit. Dude, that was crazy. I just got like a photo. Holy crap. Are you standing by this window?
See, what was that light? Oh, it's the moon.
Cool. Could you appear again?
Can you do it? Let's do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go. See?
Whoa, dude! I just got that in the freaking camera. Holy crap.
A disturbing white figure appears in a photo, and then Ian catches a bizarre white mist on camera in the exact same window. So did Ian capture evidence of the paranormal? Could the ghostly coughing, pleas for help, and the unexplained apparitions belong to the patients that died in the sanatorium? Let me know what you think. You can watch this entire investigation with even more bizarre paranormal moments over on the YouTube channel, Midwest Ghost Hunter. From above, a security camera in San Vicente, Chicoloapan, Mexico, captures something very strange in the middle of the night.
Oh my. What the heck is that? Oh man. What the heck is happening? Oh shit.
A strange figure seems to float down from the sky, frightening a pack of dogs as it makes its way across a parking lot, and then it almost seems to change into an odd black figure. The footage went viral with many viewers wondering just what this bizarre shape could possibly be. Some speculated that it might be something paranormal, or possibly even something alien. But just what do you think it is?
That's freaking crazy.
Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, do it now, and then also turn on all notifications so you never miss a video. You can also follow me on the socials and just say, hi there, Nuke. Anyway, hopefully I will see you next video.
That was insane, guys. I don't know what you think, but Nuke's Top 5 is one of my favorites. I think it was my sister that introduced me to this channel, but it's quite amazing and unique. I do believe that he's been having some family issues happening, so he hasn't been able to post as often as he used to, but he does a freaking amazing job. I actually want to try to share a part of one more. Okay, let's see. So we'll do a partial of another one, and maybe we'll complete it next time, or as far as we are Paradox Media on Spreaker goes, we'll have to end it a little early, but we can continue the video over here on YouTube and such. Man, come on! No. That's not it. Tiptoe through the tulips with me. Tiptoe through the tulips with me. That was awesome. I have to say that was awesome. I really enjoyed that. Alright, let's go. LETSGO. Let's go. Oh, wow. Pause this. Pause. Go back over here. Oh my. Okay, share screen. still trying to get used to this stuff, but I'm telling you what, this is pretty epic. I love these vids. I love these videos. Share screen. Oh, top 8 scary ghost videos to chill you to the bone. And this is the Fearsome 5.
Welcome to Fearsome Top 5. Today we're taking a look at 8 scary videos of paranormal activity caught on camera. Number 1. TikTok user Bleak Sorrow is a paranormal enthusiast that often sets out to investigate cemeteries alone. Well, after doing countless investigations in these graveyards, strange things began to happen in his house. His first thought was that something dark must have followed him home from one of his visits to the cemetery, and now he often hears the sound of footsteps that seem to come.
Shadow. So, I don't know, maybe some tips, advice would help out.
Get the hell out.
Can't really see anything. There's no one in here.
Ooh-wee.
Nice.
Rats in there.
And all the
Are there still rats?
creepy stuff that's been happening here. This is the bathroom I passed earlier, where there was some shadow figure standing, supposedly. I've watched it. It's creepy. That's creepy. But anyway, there's nothing in here to make a shadow stand at all. This bathtub. I have a the pipes outside.
What the hell?
Bathtub, shower, have a window right here. What was that? Okay, so here's the thing. This house has been creeping me out for the longest time already. And we haven't lived here but maybe, I don't know, 2 years. It's just, I swear to God, I don't like it.
Tell you what, dude.
I mean, if there's anyone
Go away. Get the hell out. Run for your life.
I don't know how to, I'm posting this directly from TikTok. I have a 2-year-old son upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
You could have heard these doors open, surely. Nobody on this side. You can see my big butt standing on this side so no one can get out. I'm doing this pretty quick. I won't be down here right now. Nothing in here. Double door. I'm telling you guys. Something's up in this place.
It's time to move, dude. Get out.
We'll go. Oh, y'all.
Go away.
But something is going on, and I'm going to keep doing the paranormal investigations, but I feel like here soon they might start being at my own house, which is kind of creepy. So I'll keep you guys updated.
While showing off the bathroom from his previous video, he panned the camera to the left, revealing an eerie hand pressed against the glass.
It looked like a
This
face for a
small hand
second.
quickly
Yep, it's a
pulled
hand.
away, and as he darted out of the bathroom, there was no one there. He then made his way from room to room to show that he truly was the only person in the basement. But if so, then who did this creepy-ass hand belong to? Bleak Sorrow has continued to record the bizarre happenings in his basement, and things just continue to get weirder.
What's going on, TikTok? We're back in the
Love you, Twitcher. Thanks for hanging out with me.
Some noises down here. Water running. Actually, this door's been moving, so it's been kind of creepy. I'm really not sure what I'm looking for. A lot of you guys want to power off the main room because it was getting remodeled. We still have the breakers on for the laundry room and the bathroom. I'll show you guys the bathroom now. It still has water, not water, electric. It has water too, hopefully.
Emissions
But
water.
yeah,
Just wait and see.
It has a nice, very bright light. It actually has a light up here that also works. So that's awesome.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness that works.
Those doors, as you know, that's my pantry. That's my, that's water running. That is.
Yeah, you said water how many times? There's your water.
Okay. Yeah, we're not good with that right now. we'll just leave those open on me.
Yeah, so he's gonna leave the cupboards open.
The lights on, guys. It's still
fucking creepy.
I don't know.
Creepy AF.
I don't know where anyone would be hiding. Not behind the door.
Still haven't found what I'm looking for.
That could be upstairs.
Your water again.
Man, I don't want to go in there again.
Dude, I'm telling you, water's on.
I'll show you guys, see if there's... Oh, God. Nope, that is the water. That is the water.
That's the water.
So that's, not good. There's
not good at all. Your water bill's going to be pretty high.
So oh, man, I don't want to move. Oh, man. It's freaky. I mean, I'm practically shaking, guys.
I would be too.
Just... Okay. And, of course, some of the cabinets are closed yet again.
Yeah, you left them open. Now they're closed.
No.
Make up your damn mind.
About to,
What are you looking for?
Hold on a second. No, okay, there's like shelves. Wait a minute. No, there's absolutely nobody in here. At all.
And there's the other one that's like, I'm like, I wish he would have opened the other one. That's just like this one, but across light. He never did. He opens everything else, but he didn't open that one.
At all.
Does he have a code? I don't know.
The light is now off in the bathroom.
See, and he could have done that on his way out, but I don't know.
In his basement, something seems to be desperately trying to get his attention.
Tell you what.
Number 2. The man behind the WinMC Pics TikTok account is someone we've seen on this channel before.
Gonna have to see my outro for Spreaker. You guys ready for this? Thank you so much for joining me this evening on BR Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. I'm so grateful that you joined me for story time with me, TessaTNT, and for hanging out with me to watch these creepy ass videos. Next weekend, we have Psychic Chris Garcia. If you haven't seen him before, you gotta freaking check it out, because he is freaking amazing. He does readings online, he's got these oracle cards, he's got all kinds of stuff going on. If you want to check him out, the number is 210-974-3470. If you have any questions for Psychic Chris Garcia, get a hold of him there. Thank you to all of our friends on BR Paradox Media's Facebook, KBNL Radio, Twitter, Spreaker, Twitch, iHeartRadio, and wherever else you may be listening beyond the Omniverse tonight. Had a wonderful time hanging out with you, and I can't wait to do it again next time. Like I said, next weekend we have Psychic Chris Garcia, and then once again, story time with me, TessaTNT. Don't forget, you guys, we're all in this together. Together, we can make the world a little better. And together, my friends, we are Paradox Media. Because without you, there is no us. Until next time, nighty-night, love and light. Take care of my yous, please don't work too hard, and don't take life too seriously. Just flick. Just a little flick on your shoulder. Just let it go. Let the water off the duck's back, and keep on moving. Night, love and light. Guys, have a wonderful rest of your week. And I'll see you anytime.